The wrestling season is soon upon us, and this is a video of our season kickoff meeting for the 2023-2024 school year in case you missed it. So I want to start off with a big, genuine, hearty welcome. I welcome all my returning wrestlers and all those people considering wrestling. And we're going to start off with maybe the most common quote you see in the wrestling community, and it's from Coach Dan Gable. It's actually his 75th birthday today. A little trivia for you. And he said, "Once you have wrestled, everything else in life is easy." So I don't want you to misinterpret that as saying, "Oh, once I wrestle, my adult years will be hunky-dory, no problem." Life is hard. Okay, there's no doubt about that. But what he means by that is that wrestling will give you a basis of comparison. It will give you a toughness, a resilience that will assist you in all those difficult things you have as an adult. And I believe this with all of my heart because it is true. It is absolutely true. So thank you, Coach Gable, for that quote. And I'm aware that some of you are considering wrestling. So consider this my sales pitch, okay? And I do believe these 10 things as well. Wrestling will make you a better athlete. Number two, it will promote personal responsibility. It will make you stronger mentally and emotionally. It will teach you about nutrition and weight management. It will develop leadership skills. It will teach you discipline and accountability. And wrestling does bring people from all over the world, all over different cultures, different people. And I consider this team a very inclusive team. Everybody's welcome on this team, and that's cool to have that variety of people. Wrestling promotes self mastery and focus. Wrestling teaches self defense, and wrestling can provide opportunities to travel and further your education. And as an old guy, I can attest all 10 of these are true. So let's start off with our coaching staff, and I feel very grateful for the people involved with this program. Here's a photo of us from left to right. This is Coach Caswell. I wasn't in parentheses going to say Coach Kazzy Wazzy. I don't feel comfortable doing that. Couldn't do that. And this gentleman here is Patrick McWhirter, or Coach Mac. And this is me, Anthony Salsiccioli, Coach Sauce. And here are our numbers if you need to get in touch with us. And we have volunteers and alum that will be showing up. Three in particular will be here often. Coach Dom, Coach Greg Lutz, not to be confused with this, Greg Caswell, and Coach Ryan Smith or Coach Smitty. They're going to be here often, and we're going to have alumni come in. So we have a great group of coaches. I could not ask for a better group of coaches, and that's the truth. We also have a wonderful athletic trainer, and this is Sarah Ryan. If you're wondering why I'm not being more formal, that's what she goes by. And this is her information. This is her email. And she is fantastic keeping the athletes, with their nutrition and with their injuries and keeping them healthy. And we're lucky to have her. And this is Mr. Murphy, our athletic director. He's been the athletic director for close to 20 years, and he handles the scheduling and the buses and all the tasks. I'm glad he takes care of and not me because they are not fun to do. And here is his phone number, and here is his email if you ever need to get in touch with Mr. Murphy. So in terms of communication, we use Google Classroom, and because in this day and age there's so many different platforms to communicate with people, considering we're all in Clarenceville, we all have Google Classroom. So if you're not on Google Classroom, this is the code to put in. We also communicate through Final Forms. If you've not done that before, that's the link for that. We have a Facebook page to keep up with. And if you ever are on social media, I would appreciate a hashtag Clarenceville Wrestling, to get the communication out there. So these are the four means of communication. And important dates. Please put these on your calendars, whether they're digital or paper. I'm old. I use a paper calendar. Okay, you can laugh at me. So first practice, November 13th. Now the nutritional meeting alpha weigh-in that's going to be announced tomorrow. Sarah will be there and let us know. Here's a link for the schedule. It's almost done. When it is completed, it will be there. You can just click on that link. Team districts February 8th, individual districts February 10th, team regionals February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day. Now, the girls and the boys are going to go in two different directions, okay? So this year, like the last couple of years, my female wrestlers have a choice. Do you want to wrestle in the boys' tournament or the girls' tournament? I would strongly suggest the girls' tournament, but I can't make you do anything. That's up to you. So we have 2 different days for that, and then individual finals March 1st and 2nd. So this is the season, November 13th to March 2nd. and it goes by fast. And here's what I'm asking everybody to do by November 13th. Please don't be the person that shows up without these things. Please get a physical. Don't show up on the 13th and say, hey, I need to get a physical. You have a couple weeks, get it done, please. Fill out the final forms. Your parent can enter that information in the final forms. It's $100 pay to play. If you've already played a fall sport, you're all set. So at Clarenceville, it's $100 for either 1, 2, or 3 sports. So $100 if you haven't paid that yet. And please get wrestling shoes. I've been looking around the area, not a great selection, but online works real well. I've gotten my shoes in recent years online. Certainly can do that. Knee pads and your own headgear are optional. The school will purchase some headgear. And so nobody's going to go out there with no headgear. But if you want to get your own, I'll leave that up to you. Now, in terms of logistics, the season is Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, 2:45 to 5:15. Please arrange for your rides to be there at 5:30. Now, Wednesday is a shortened day, and those days, one of us, either Coach Mack has to go to the meeting and one goes to practice, or vice versa. We're probably going to alternate. So that's a little bit different. So we're going to go from 1:20 to 3:30. Please pick up at 3:45. Here's some visuals. Waiting till 6:15 equals sadness. There. Don't get to put emojis and PowerPoints very often, so that was fun for me. Now, the meets are generally on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Weigh-ins are 4:30s for Wednesdays, and usually it's early in the morning for Saturdays, and the meets start at either 9 or 10. Okay, now team rules. When a coach is talking, you're listening. Stop on the whistle. Real simple. Okay, when the whistle blows, you're listening. Honor people's time and your own time by being punctual. Time is a commodity we cannot get back. You need to arrive on time. Honor your teammates by arriving at practice having proper hygiene. Your nails are trimmed. If you cut your teammate that gets infected, don't stink. Okay, we're right next to each other. We're shoulder to shoulder, face to face. If your hygiene is poor, you're being a bad partner. Clean clothes. If you're wearing the same training clothes you've worn 3 days in a row, that's not nice. Okay, if your smell is one that we can notice, that's problematic. Okay, and I'm gonna have to send you to a shower with a bar of soap, and that's an uncomfortable thing. Just show up clean and smelling good if you could, and have your personal needs taken care of, your bathroom, your equipment, that kind of thing. Don't show up at 2:45 and say, I need to use the restroom, or I need to do this. Be ready for practice. We build up our teammates. Life is hard enough. Okay, we're a team, we're a group. We do not tear each other down. We boost each other up. And I am big on that. Do not tear down your teammates. We build up our teammates. Be mentally present when we're together. You might be in the wrestling room, but if your mind is elsewhere, it's not very fruitful to being a good wrestler. What I love about wrestling is all the distractions, all the difficulties in the world. Leave it all behind. Give yourself a 2.5 hour window that you can just focus on one thing. That's what I want you to do. Because if your mind is elsewhere, you're not going to do great. Now, failure to do these things, I'm going to warn you first, then I'm going to give you a physical reminder. You're going to be running stairs or doing some training. Now, if you continue to not do these things, we have to part ways. Maybe you can go play basketball or something. I hope I don't have to do that. But our school rule does state at any time a player can be disciplined or removed from the team if he or she becomes a detriment to the team or school. I don't want to cut anybody. I love people wrestling. However, we need to do these sorts of things as a team. In order to get a varsity letter, you must have 30 points and be in attendance at least 80% of the trainings and meet. Now, injury being the exception. If you were a really solid, dedicated wrestler and you got injured in January, I'm not going to be that guy to say, well, you didn't get 80%. But if you're not here for some nonsense reason, that's problematic. I need you here. Now, our philosophy, focus on what you can control. If you focus on things beyond your control, it is not fruitful. You always choose your response. You cannot control the actions of others, but you can control the way you respond to things. I don't want public displays of emotion where people are throwing headgears and crying and ranting. If you want to go do that in private, that's fine, but you represent this team. Keep it together. Okay, don't get too high if you win. Don't get too low if you lose. Okay, keep steady. I'm looking for steady. Don't suffer imagined troubles. Seneca once said, "We suffer more from imagination than from reality," and that's true. Please don't be in your head. Oh, who's going to be wrestling for the other team? And what if this happens? And what if? Okay, there's enough trouble without imagined troubles. Just focus on the ones at hand, which brings me to number 4, the obstacle in the way. We all have an obstacle. Your obstacle might be learning the moves. Your obstacle might be your fitness levels. Your obstacle might be there's somebody in the varsity spot that you want to take out. That obstacle becomes your focus. The obstacle is the way. Prepare for hardship. This is not an easy sport. This is not an easy sport. If you're looking for something cushy, I can suggest some other sports. This is a hard sport, so prepare yourself for it, okay? Now, time flies, okay? Tempus fugit. How will you utilize your time to take advantage of every minute? Time really counts. Lead by examples. Words mean bubkiss to me. Actions mean everything to me. We're wrestlers, okay? Words are words. If you want to jaw and talk and that kind of thing, go play another sport. We don't do that in wrestling. Our actions, not our words. And be grateful. Like, I am grateful to be alive. I am grateful to be able to be involved with wrestling, to be part of such a wonderful team. And I don't want you to say I have to. Oh, I have to run 20 minutes. No, say I get to. There's a lot of people who wish they could do that, but they can't. Okay. So I don't want to say I have to. Say I get to. I get to participate. I get to do these things. Now, I want you to aspire to some things. Number 1, to make it through the season. This is the most physically and mentally taxing sport you can choose to participate in a high school. Attrition rates, meaning people who quit or drop out, are traditionally 20%. So if you can wrestle throughout high school, that's an accomplishment in and of itself. And the varsity ladder's cool. But that pride that you will be, it's like a stamp. It's an indelible stamp. You are a wrestler for the rest of your life, and you meet another wrestler, you're going to garner their respect and vice versa. Now, we have some incentives, some positive incentives. If you are the best practice wrestler at the end of every week, I'm going to say such and such is the best practice wrestler. It can be anybody. Anybody can do this. If you have worked the hardest and were a good partner and gave everything, you'll get the practice wrestler of the week. And at the end of the season, the person who has the most will be given a pretty nice trophy. Why not? Outstanding wrestler. Now, outstanding wrestler is for the person who goes beyond what they are capable of. It's not necessarily winning, it's stepping up and giving an amount of effort that was at the top of the team. Now, again, the wrestler with the most outstanding wrestler awards will be given a trophy at the banquet. And number 4, reinvent yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally. Get stronger than you've ever been. Aspire to be the best you can be physically, mentally, and emotionally. And I do believe this. If you fully buy into the sport, I promise, you will improve in all 3 of these areas of your life. Now, in terms of the foundations of We Wrestle, I think this is the most brilliant quote when it comes to wrestling I have ever heard. I know we don't kick in wrestling, but you get the point. I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. So if training is getting redundant and you're saying, oh my gosh, I've just hit 20 single legs in a row. Okay, great. Okay, you got it. You got 9,000 and so more to do, right? And these are the 7 skills we all need to master: stance, motion, changing levels, penetration, step, lifting, back arch, and back step. If you can do these 7 things and you can hone in on your moves, you will be a good wrestler. So these are kind of the philosophical foundations as we move forward. And I want to announce our first captain. Now, we're going to have 3, but I get to choose one. The team will choose 2. This year I have chosen Alex Sparkman, and Alex Sparkman had an outstanding offseason, and he's a senior and has worked really hard. So congratulations to Alex. He's going to start the year as our captain, and then the team will vote for 2 more, and these will be our leaders, although I expect all of you to be leaders. But that's going to be our leadership core for the year. And I want to end on a personal note. Wrestling has been a very valuable part of my life. And, here's me when I was your age. There's me. And I just want to share. That's the 119 pounder right there. That's him and I at Thanksgiving last year. We are still dear friends. This guy right here, one of my best friends. We are still together after these years. So I've had lifetime friendships. This is my high school roommate. Unfortunately, our coach and one of my teammates passed away last year, and we all came together and we were galvanized. Even though many years have passed, that bond we share as wrestlers are there. And I look at the past here. This is when we won the leagues 15 years ago. I keep in contact with the vast majority of these guys, and they keep in touch with each other. Last year, when we needed funds to have the season go, many of these individuals contributed, okay? A lot, actually. And they really stepped up and were super generous because even though they're in their 30s, wrestling was a big part of their life. Here's a bunch of alum that showed up last year to see a match. And even though different years, different weight classes, different backgrounds, They're bonded. They're bonded because they're wrestlers. So if you are on the fence whether to join the sport, I will tell you it has the potential to do a lot of good in your future. And I welcome you all. I'm anticipating a great season. And should I end with, let's make every day a great day to be a Clarenceville Trojan? I know that was hokey, but why not? Okay, go Trojans.